Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. And I got 2012 Acura Rdx, and I want to show you how to change your rear brakes. They're pretty easy to change, but it has a couple tricks. I already took most of this out, and basically you start with the caliper first, and it has these here and on this side two 12mm bolts. They're right here. These are the two 12mm. You take them out, then you remove the caliper here, then you have the bracket here on mounted with other two bolts, and these are the two that hold the caliper bracket right here. It's this one here. They go through here. It's actually here on this side. They mount to the car, right here on from this side here. So, and then once you take this bracket out, the next thing is you need to take the rotor out, and the rotor is actually held by these two Phillips screws, and they go in here and in here. Once you take these out, then the rotor just pulls out. So at this point I'm ready to install the new rotor, and I will show you the tricks of what you're supposed to do. And there's a little trick here. Before you install the new rotor, please use brake cleaner to get any kind of oil residue on the metal, because you're gonna have a huge problem. And you need to clean it on the inside too, right here, because this is where the parking brake is gonna touch the metal. And there's one thing here that you need to pay attention to, and this is the parking brake adjuster right here. So the way this works is actually it's a piston that pushes out the parking brake when you press it. This has to be adjusted every time you replace the rear brakes, because you need to reset it to go back to the way it's supposed to work, because these get worn out with time. So the way you do it is this piston, you need to find out where the threads are, or the thread is. So the thread is here. So the way it works is just like a normal bolt. If you do clockwise, you're gonna actually close the cylinder if you do this. And in our case, we don't need to do that. We need to actually open the cylinder to extend it, so it'll press the parking brake shoes to the rotor. So the way you do it is there's a special hole in the rotor that you need to go with a screwdriver inside. And I've already cleaned this rotor, so I'm gonna install it here. And make sure you install it with where the actual little holes are. And where is this? Okay, okay, so it seems that it's right here. Nope, that's the wrong holes. You need to remember these two and see where they are. They're right here. Okay, so next step is you take the Phillips screws and you install them. Make sure you get them tight, because that's what's going to hold the rotor to the car when you take off the wheels. And here we go. It's pretty tight. So here's the situation with this. Let me turn the light. You need to look inside here and find the teeth right there. See those teeth? So remember, in order to know the direction of which one you need to turn, you need to look at that piston to see which side has the thread or the bolts. So in this case, because the bolts on this side, if we turn down, that's clockwise, we're gonna close it. We don't need to close it, we need to open it. So right now you can test it and see that it's moving. So what you're gonna need to do is you're gonna need to put a screwdriver in there, a flat screwdriver, and you're gonna spin counterclockwise. And you're gonna spin counterclockwise until this brake stops moving on the inside. And you're gonna feel it also because the piston is gonna stop moving. And as we can see right now, you see it's not moving. So when you do that, you have to go one turn down, or not one turn, actually one tooth down, and you look inside, and then you put a screwdriver, and then you try to press it down and test. Okay, it's not moving yet. Okay, it's not moving yet. Again. Okay, it's not moving yet. And okay, it just started moving. Actually, let me test it again. I'll put it back. So again, you test it, it's not moving. Then you need to push it one tooth down, and here we go. So it's all about just one tooth up or down. But right now it's moving, it's actually ready to go. This is how you reset your parking brakes. And a lot of vehicles have this system. Sometimes you have to look in the back. There's a little space or opening in the back sometimes. This is a specific system with these brake pad shoes when they're installed inside the rotor, and that's how the parking brake works on these vehicles. Not all vehicles have this, it's just this specific one has this system, and this is how you reset it. And there's a little rubber mount here that actually closes this hole, and it's on the old rotor, so you need to replace it. We get it from the old one, it's right here. And it's right here. You just need to push it out, and it's this thing right here, and you need to get it in. It may give you some trouble actually because the rubber is very tight. And here we go. So this is mounted. Okay, before we can install the bracket back, which is the next step of this process, always don't forget that you need to open these because you need to grease them up, clean them up, and grease them up again. Okay, away. These are the self-folding bolts, so you need to open them here. And as we can see, you see, very old. This grease is gone. It has never been replaced since this car has been purchased new. This is number one mistake that people make because they never check these. They never charge them with grease again. And this is one of the biggest mistakes because these brakes work based on this bolt moving left and right, or that's what a self-floating caliper, or that's how these self-floating calipers work actually. So we need to clean this and charge it again. Okay, because this is so old, we need to use just normal brake cleaner, and you need to clean this completely. and you need to check for rust, because this, if you have rust, this is not good. And we have a problem here. You see, this actually will this will make this metal get stuck inside this hole in this gallery, because this is becoming, instead of having this shiny surface, this is becoming a place where this is getting stuck. So we need to clean this with a metal brush. I have a machine here, and then you can recharge it again with grease. Okay, you see now this is clean, and still, if you actually pay attention, you see these little markings in the metal. That's actually rust. That's where the rust started hitting the metal, because the grease was so old and it was non-existent. Pretty much the grease was just disintegrating and disappearing. And once that happens, what's going to happen is this metal with the rust is going to get stuck in this gallery here, and this bracket will actually stop working. And what's going to happen is your caliper is going to start working only on one side. So you're going to see how one of your brake pads is getting worn out but not the other one, because this self-loading system doesn't work anymore. So that's why you have to pay attention to these. And now it's clean, and then now we're gonna get some grease here, and we're going to charge this inside. And sometimes what I do is just I put a little bit on the side like this, and then I actually push it through. And see, when you start seeing this movement, this is what it's supposed to be doing normally. And it may give you a little bit of a vacuum suction. This is the way this is supposed to work. And in this case, I'm gonna put just a little bit more. Try not to overload it. You just need to have enough so that this thing works perfectly, and it doesn't get rusted. So here we go. This is perfect. I'm gonna clean the excess once I install this, and this is how it's supposed to work. It's supposed to give you a resistance, because that is what's going to make this caliper or this bracket actually push the caliper back. So here we go. Again, get this out. So this one is ready, and now you're going to open this other one, and again it's going to be almost the same shape. It's nasty, old, and the grease is almost gone. Again, need to clean this, because there is no grease anymore here left. And we need to get this shiny again. I'm gonna use the machine to fix it. Okay, again the same thing. You need to get some grease and try to charge it inside. Just a little bit more. Again, spin it around so you can get it in. And once you see a free movement, that's what it's supposed to be doing. Okay, this is it. You clean it and you test it again. Everything is fine. And normally I believe these shims have to be replaced, but they didn't come with the brake pads. I guess we're just gonna reuse the old ones. There's nothing wrong with these. And anyway, okay, before we install this bracket back, check your bolts. And what I do with these, they have rust. You can either install anti-seize compound, or I would just smudge them with a little bit of engine oil just to get the rust out, so they don't get messed up after you install them and give you trouble the next time when you try to take them off. See, you just get a little bit of oil on their rusted parts, and it should be okay, just to help yourself when the installation. And in this case, we need to install this back on the car right here, and you need to find the actual hose. It's right here, and then the next one is down here. So you tie these again with a 17 millimeter. Okay, this is good to go. And the next step is, there's a little trick to these brake pads. See these metal coverings here. On this specific one, it has this additional metal thing, and you're gonna have to use this thing here called a permanent lubricant for disc brakes, or sometimes they call it brake grease or whatever. So what this thing does is, this one already has this cover, so this is gonna go inside, but because this is separated, you're gonna have to use this and smudge this thing on the back of this metal covering, so it'll actually glue this metal piece. And you just kind of smudge it a little bit, and then you install it on this brake pad. This will it won't glue it, but it'll make this get stuck here to this brake pad. And we have these two. So one goes on the inner side where the piston is. Again, you can use this tool to actually get the piston back to zero position, because you need to install the new ones. And in our case, this is the new one that goes on the inside. So you need to put it in a place where you can actually work on this, and I guess right here should be okay. And you just need to put it inside the piston cylinder, and here we go. Just goes in straight, and then you need to install the one that sits on the outside, and this is the direction, this is how it fits. And you need to get this here, the caliper, and help yourself with these two bolts where they're supposed to go. So once you get it in right here, and the only thing left is these two 12 millimeter bolts, and you get one here, and then you get one here. And I'm gonna use my ratchet to get them tight. And these are 12 millimeter. The big ones on the bracket were 17 millimeter. These big ones here, this one here, they were 17 millimeter, and these on the caliper are 12 millimeter bolts. And once you kind of stop, you just get a little bit more or tighter, and no more than this, because you can break this bolt. It's only a 12mm bolt. You don't need to over tie it or break it, just until the point that it stops. And this is it. This brake is ready. Again, the one thing that you need to be always doing is this thing here, brake cleaner, because you've been touching the brake rotor with your hands or gloves, whatever. Every single installation, to finish the installation, you need to clean this rotor. Again, spin it to get if there's anything between the brake pad and the rotor, because it needs to be cleaned. And then you can spray in the space right here to actually clean in the direction of the brake pads, just in case. And once this is clean, you see this is perfect. This is done in order to prevent any squeaking or problems with the braking afterwards. And this was the whole job. Pretty easy, but just a couple of tricks. And again, don't forget the parking brake adjustment procedure and just the little shims here. And this should be it. This side is ready. The right side is done the same way as this one, so I'm gonna finish this video with this. And again, I hope I help you guys as much as I can. And if you have any questions, just please leave comments. I'll try to answer them as soon as possible. And again, thanks for watching. Please like my videos and please subscribe. Thank you. Again, Acura 2012 Rdx.